Welcome back, my beautiful Super Soul sisters, and today I would like to talk to you about the attention on a personal level. How much of your personal attention is being grabbed that is costing you? Because as I mentioned yesterday or in the last video, once you've lost your time, you cannot get it back. It's really important that we start becoming aware of where is my attention going and for how long. And this is one of the things, like if we are jumping around like fleas from one hot spot to the other, 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 what is that doing to us as individuals? Did you know that the stats are actually showing that we have a dramatic increase in ADHD now, and it has been solely associated to social media. Okay, as much as I love social media and it's a lovely thing to have, there has been a negative impact. Okay, and our young ones, I think it's up to 30% increase in ADHD because of social media. And I got to tell you, I noticed this. Like, I was out with dare I say, my son and some of his friends, and I noticed that I have got a window of probably 2 to 3 minutes where I can actually hold their attention and actually have a conversation with those boys before they're already on their device or starting to talk about something else. So what that is doing on a personal level is training us as individuals to be reactive. We have parts of our brain that developed at different stages of our evolution. We have the reptilian brain, okay, which sits at the back. And that reptilian brain is the reactive brain. It's the survival brain. It's the flight fight mode. It's what was necessary in the evolutionary process to keep us alive. Okay, so if you are wandering in the plains of Africa and a lion rocked up, you knew either to run or fight it. Okay, it's that kind of response. It's like it goes off. It thinks about food. It thinks about survival, and it thinks about sex. Those are the three things that happen. Why? Because you've got to be able to do flight. You have to think about, how am I going to go out and get some food? That hunter brain. So it's go out, I've got to go and get my food out in the bush. Okay, if I come across a lion, I've got to be able to fight it. Okay, so there's that reactive high alert cortisol thing going on, and adrenaline kicking in. It's got the reproductive side of it, in that, how am I going to make my species survive? Okay, so they don't operate. That part of the brain does not kick in unless it's in rest and digest mode. So once you've done the food, once you've done your hunting, once you've done all of that survival stuff, you're now thinking about, when I'm gone, I have to breed. I have to have something that's going to live past me, right? So, okay, that part of the brain is being overstimulated by social media, by our notifications, it doesn't have to be, it can be just, like your mobile devices, anything that is constantly ringing an alarm bell. And that's what it is. It's like that alarm goes off, ding, 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 ding. Every time that ding, ding, ding happens, you'll know it's YouTube. If it's a ding, ding, a different tune, then you know it's your Facebook. It pops up, it's a visual, so you're getting a double whammy. You're getting the sound and you're getting a visual impact, which in NLP terms, in coaching terms, is a compounder. It has a higher impact of imprinting on the person that you're trying to condition by hitting two sensory things. So you've got auditory and you've got a visual. Okay, now sometimes they make the phone shake, vibrate. Okay, so now you've got, of your senses, VAK, your visual, auditory, kinesthetic, then you've got olfactory and gustatory, but these three are the ones that they play on the most. So how do you feel? What do you see? And what do you hear? Okay, so if you've got all three of those being triggered every single time, they've now hooked you. They've hooked you in and they've got your attention. Their whole drive is to get as much of your attention as often as possible so they can make money out of you. Okay? Now, I know it sounds like an awful drive. There is a positive in that it's nice if you're actually connecting for genuine purposes rather than superficial ones, which unfortunately it does tend to land up being most of the time. It's like, oh, look at me, I've got a new pair of, I don't know, clothes or shoes or handbag or whatever. Is that urgent? Is it really urgent? Do I need to know whether you got a new handbag or not? Actually, personally, I think no. I'm very happy that you've got one, but I don't want you to steal my time. I don't, they are time thieves. And these time thieves, you cannot get that time back. That time is gone for good. So if you're sitting in your little rocking chair at the end of the day and you actually calculated how much of your time has been stolen from all these arbitrary notifications, 90% of the time, arbitrary. If I said to you, you lost 10, 20 years of your time, which I'm sure in our lifetime, by the time our kids have grown up, I'm telling you, I reckon it would easily be that. Would you regret that? I know I certainly would. I'd be sitting there going, better use of my time would not be with that. So how can we control that? That is conditioning ourselves and our children to be reactive to something that's outside of us. That is training them to be at the beck and call of advertisers, of big players like, the social media platforms, whatever it is, the device people, whoever's, making the devices, advertisers, it stimulates that reptilian part of the brain. It's, all that superficial, reactive, quick, it's urgent, zing, 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 that it stimulates that. And it detracts from your prefrontal cortex, which is the last thing that developed in our brains as humans. So this is our center of thought control. It's our center. It's the last to develop. And what did they say? The last to develop and the last to know. Okay. So we react first, then sometimes we think about it. But if they don't give us enough time to think about it, they just keep us in the reptilian part of our brain. How useful is that? Is that good? Is that where we want to be? Do we want to be controlled by everything other than but ourselves? Okay. And what time does that leave for us to go inside and calm things down and actually tune into the universe, the source, whatever you want to call it, in order to get what it's really about? So it distracts us to the point of control, really, at the end of the day. For what? For finances most of the time. Now, very good. Look, I'm in marketing, with my digital stuff. And I tell you what, I see it all the time. Now, if it's for good purposes, fantastic. But at the end of the day, everybody's trying to make a buck. They're just trying to survive, right? So I'm not pointing fingers in the respect of like, a shame on them or whatever. But it gets to the point where they are so desperate and so over-sensationalized. It concerns me about what the mental and emotional impact this is going to have on us and our kids. Okay, in the long run, what is this going to mean for us as a society? So we've already got like 30% or more of this ADHD that has increased because of these, there's a notification here, there's a notification there. It was really interesting. There, in that case with my sons, there was one of the boys who actually isn't, he's quite a sporty guy. He's awesome. He's a lovely guy. I've got so much time for him. He was the only one who was fully present with me in that conversation. I was showing him things that was being made, that we make in Africa, out in the villages. They have to make things in order to sell them, in order to survive. Okay, it's not about devices. I'm sure they've got devices now, but they'll be limited about, Wi-Fi connectivity, power, all of that. So what they do is, for example, there's one He's become a famous artist now. At a certain time of the year, he's a South African artist actually, the butterflies all drop their wings, okay, in the field. So he gets the little African kids, and I think he must pay them, and they collect all these wings, and he makes artwork out of that, and he sells it to tourists. So he's not killing butterflies, they're already dead, but he's using nature to create. He's tapped into his creativity. He is now known as the butterfly artist. He is awesome. He does these great big ones now, whereas before I've got a little one that I hang up of a little African lady carrying a pot on her head, and it's all made out of butterfly wings. I mean, how creative and amazing is that? Where is the creativity space for our young ones if we're going device, bing, ping, 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 ping? Now everybody goes, oh yes, I know all about that. What are we doing about it? What are you doing about it? What are they doing about it? What are the schools doing about it? How can we have it where we can stop that from happening? Because I'm finding it, he was the only one who was actually present with me going through all the different things that are incredible, that were made by these kids. Like, they have to make this stuff and sell them in order to make their money, okay? There's no pocket money. They have to make it, all right? They don't go ping, ping, ping. They have to stay focused. They have to get creative. You cannot be creative when you're in reptilian brain. There is no capacity for creative in the reptilian brain. That all came into the second and third parts of the brain development, okay? This front logic thing, but too much, too much thinking, okay? So the midbrain helps us to connect all of that together. We need a balance in all of that, don't we? So this is one of the things that, I really do worry about. We had some wonderful visitors. I haven't seen this lady and her partner for absolutely years, and it was such a delight. And it did trigger me, because it didn't trigger me. It was more a case of an observation. I remember when I ran my business, just how on tap I was with my phone, literally 24/7. My staff would need me, I was there. It was 10 o'clock at night. I would literally work from 8:30 to 10, 11 o'clock at night. I was on tap 24/7. Now, I tell you what, that phone goes off. I screen everything. If I'm with somebody, I am with them. That phone goes off. You have to be dying, dead, or in an accident for me to actually pick that up. And I request, when I go out with my girlfriends, when we sit around at a table, everybody knows, Vicky's here, we turn our phones off. I've only got you for half an hour, 45 minutes, and I don't want to share you with 50 other people. That's my thing. If you don't like that, then we ain't going to be meeting for lunch, baby. Now, I understand with some folks, they're the only person in their job and they have to take bookings or whatever. But if you think about in the old days, we had voicemail. Is it really going to kill someone to wait half an hour for you to get back to them to confirm a booking? No. The answer is no. If you didn't know what the answer is, I'm telling you now, the answer is no. Okay? So my whole thing is, where's your attention going? So I had an exercise yesterday where I asked you to do this from a business aspect. Pay attention to how many notifications you're actually getting, and see how long your attention lasts. I would like you today to take note of how many notifications and pings you actually get. You can do it, if it's too long to track for an hour, do half an hour, or do a morning, or if you're brave enough, do the whole day. Go, let's see how many did I get, 10, maybe you can just keep them up, because quite often they stay up on your screen, don't they? All right, and just see how many you actually got. Now, second thing, go through those without looking at every single one. Just read what each one is and screen out how many of those were actually important, okay, that you actually would have needed to go and read, okay? Right, now that you've done that, of those, which ones were actually urgent? Which ones could have been kept for tomorrow or kept for another day? find out which ones those are, and I bet you it would have been one or two of those things that you actually could have done, right? Now, my request to you is, on a personal front, when you're with your friends, turn your phone off, be fully present with them, and I will bet my bottom dollar, that you will struggle with this for the next probably 15 or 20 times that you do it. Why? Because you've been so conditioned. You have been unaware until this video. You have been unaware of just how conditioned you are. That device has become an extension of your hand, your arm, and people feel antsy without it because it's playing in your reptilian. It's time to get out of reptilian and into calm, rest, and digest. Connect with your friends, connect with your family. Your attention is the most precious gift that you can actually give anybody, okay? And that includes your family, especially your children, okay? I can't tell you how many people I have coached with attachment trauma. And attachment trauma is when you are not giving enough attention to whoever it is as a primary caregiver. So if you haven't received it, like it might be your partner, it might be mum or dad, people dismiss this. They think that you have to have had a major trauma in your life, a PTSD, a big trauma, what I call a big trauma in their life for you to be absolutely thrown to the wall, okay? Yes, there are those. But the ones that I tend to see are attachment trauma issues. These are people who are not receiving the attention that they need in their developmental stages from their primary caregiver or givers, okay? So it doesn't matter who that person is. It could be an adopted mum or dad. It could be a real mum or dad. But the biggest damage I see is from those because it's insidious. It's this whole thing of they're on the phone. The only way that I can say it is, like I had one example that I can give you. A lady who was obsessed with her work. Now, she was doing it all for the right reasons. She was like, I have to work my butt off in order to, earn money. But she was highly driven by the fact that she had high levels of attachment trauma herself because her mother didn't give her the attention that she needed, and her father only gave her attention when she actually achieved something. So she was conditioned into thinking that the only way she's ever going to be loved is if she is a high achiever and earning big money. And there was a knock-on with her children. And the association made by her kids was, work is more important than me. The phone calls are more important than me. Do you want that for your kids? Yes or no? Okay. Now, if you're suffering from guilt around, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize I did that, don't beat yourself up. Make up for lost time. Get unconditioned. Put your attention into the places that it's needed and just give your time fully to that kid, to your friends, to yourself. Yourself is very important in there, okay? And to those that you love and care about, okay? And be picky about your time. That's my fourth tip that I would say. Be picky about your attention. Go, do you know what? Do I really want to spend the next hour or half hour with this person? Are they good? Have they got pure intent? Are they, a force for good? Are they going to uplift me? Are they, going to support me? Am I going to be able to support them? How can I give? How can I receive? Like, use your time wisely. So that's my fourth tip for the day. Very, really important things. And let's start talking about how can we have it where our kids are less affected as well. Just be aware of that. So challenge. Four points there that I gave you. Okay, let's see what you can actually do with that. Start becoming aware, start changing it, and block out time. Block out times for when you do respond to things. Be selective about what you do respond to. And then when you do give your time, give it 100% and turn off everything. Just be there with that person. That's all they want. That's all they want. Okay, I hope you found that useful. Namaste.